"Shut up, Jake," she snapped, but he was too amused to care. "That sounds like a no. Hey, if you ever feel like having a life again, you could come see me. I still have your motorcycle in my garage." "You were supposed to sell that. You promised Charlie you would." "Yeah, right, like I would do that. It belongs to you, not me. Anyway, I'll hold on to it until you want it back." He was nearly smiling, all signs of anger completely gone, as he looked at Bella. It was like he'd completely forgotten why we were standing there, or that I was there at all, for that matter. "Jake," Bella said softly, and he leaned in closer to her. I watched with dark curiosity at the way she seemed to have such a calming effect on him. No wonder she never felt in danger around him. He was much more carefully practiced than I would have expected. "I think I might have been wrong before, about not being able to be friends. Maybe we can manage it, on my side of the line. Come see me." I forced myself not to flinch at the suggestion. Bella was already going to be upset enough, without me reminding her for the 100th time how unsafe it would be to be in the company of werewolves. Even if Jacob had managed to infuse me with some small amount of confidence that he wouldn't cause her any physical harm, there was no way I was letting her anywhere near the rest of the pack, especially after what happened Saturday. Bella glanced up at me before answering, and I kept my expression composed. I don't know about that, Jake. I miss you every day, Bella. It's not the same without you." I was stunned. There wasn't a single trace of malicious thought in his mind, though he was staring right at her, wrapped tightly in my arms. All I could hear was compassion, and a genuine longing to be with her. "I know, and I'm sorry, Jake. "I know," he sighed, and in an instant he was the person he had been before, jealous, angry with me, and endlessly frustrated by the fact that Bella was no longer his in the way he had once thought of her. "Doesn't matter, right? I guess I'll survive or something. Who needs friends?" I felt Bella's arm twitch toward him, but I couldn't make myself let go of her. My need to protect her was too strong, yet somehow I knew it was no longer physical harm I was protecting her from. A moment later, we all heard the principal's voice coming up behind us, and we knew the conversation was over. "Okay, get to class. Move along, Mr. Crowley." "Get to school, Jake," Bella whispered. I dropped my arms from around her, and took her hand in mine. "I mean it," the principal continued. "Detention for anyone who's still standing here when I turn around again. Ah, Mr. Cullen, do we have a problem here?" "Not at all, Mr. Green. We were just on our way to class." "Excellent. I don't seem to recognize your friend," he said, looking at Jacob. "Are you a new student here?" "Can't possibly be in high school. Come on, just leave. We don't need any trouble today." "Nope," Jacob said, obviously enjoying the fact that he was making poor Mr. Green nervous. "Then I suggest you remove yourself from school property at once, young man, before I call the police." Jacob and I both grinned as the same image came to us. Charlie would get the call that somebody was causing a scene at the high school, and he'd come charging in only to see Jacob standing there laughing. While Jacob was sure he would shrug off the whole thing, I knew how serious Charlie took his job, and I couldn't help but think that the incident would make Jacob's approval rating go down a notch. Maybe I should keep him here a while longer. "Yes, sir," Jacob said, with mock sincerity, saluting him before speeding away on his bike. "Disrespectful. Shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. Mr. Cullen," he said, directing his frustration back at me, "I expect you to ask your friends to refrain from trespassing again." "He's no friend of mine, Mr. Green, but I'll pass along the warning," I said, smiling warmly at him. "Should have known. Not his fault. Never had any trouble before. Shouldn't have been rude." "I see. If you're worried about any trouble, I'd be happy to—" "There's nothing to worry about, Mr. Green. There won't be any trouble." "I hope that's correct. Well then, on to class. You too, Miss Swan." Bella's baffled expression didn't escape my notice as we walked to class hand in hand. "Do you feel well enough to go to class?" I asked her softly. I knew she'd have an enormous amount of questions, and while I wasn't in any hurry for the anger that would likely accompany them, there was no point in putting it off and watching her sulk all day. "Yes," she said, gripping my hand tighter. Class had already started when we arrived, and Bella wasted no time in getting to her questioning. I nearly laughed when I saw her furiously scrawling a note to me. Was this really the best way to discuss this? I read her note, in which she demanded I tell her everything. Though it didn't seem the ideal way to go about it, I decided if this was how she wanted to handle it, I would be all too willing. She couldn't yell at me in the middle of class. I explained that Alice had seen a vision of Victoria, but promised Florida had merely been a precaution. I told her about the incident in the push, much the way Alice had explained it to me. It was a misunderstanding, and no one got hurt. There was nothing for her to be concerned about. Her eyebrows pulled together as she read, some hidden emotion upsetting her further, though I tried to keep it casual as possible. A moment later, she started writing again, and as soon as I saw her asking about Charlie, I shook my head. This wasn't about him, and Victoria was being far too careful about not exposing her location to risk an attack on him. I reached out for the paper so I could explain, but she was already scribbling again. When I saw Florida was a bad idea, I cringed, and quickly answered that there was no way I was sending her there alone. With a grin, I added, "With your luck, not even the black box would survive." Her eyes widened as her expression shifted again, and I was suddenly having more fun than I probably should have been, given the circumstances. "So let's say my bad luck did crash the plane. What exactly were we going to do about it?" she wrote, eyeing me skeptically. "Why is the plane crashing?" "The pilots are passed out drunk." "Easy. I'd fly the plane." She glared down at the paper, and I chuckled under my breath as she started writing again. "Both engines have exploded, and we're falling in a death spiral towards the earth. I'd wait till we were close enough to the ground, get a good grip on you, kick out the wall and jump. Then I'd run you back to the scene of the accident, and we'd stumble around like the two luckiest survivors in history." Her eyes widened in surprise. "What?" I whispered. It wasn't like it had come out of nowhere. She'd been nearly silent on the plane, so I let my mind wander a bit. Maybe more than a bit. "Nothing," she mouthed, and she scratched out the words on the paper, replacing them with the one sentence I had been waiting for from the start. "You will tell me next time." I met her stare again, and wondered how long it would be until there was a next time. I knew she was trying to be brave, and in a way I understood her desire to know what was coming. As difficult as it was to think about telling her a vicious, out-for-revenge vampire was coming for her, I knew she deserved better than to be lied to. After an endless stretch of time, I reluctantly nodded, and she let out a long, slow breath she had been holding. "First they walk in late, then I'm completely ignored." I heard Mr. Birdie's irritated thoughts just as Bella was scribbling "thanks" onto the page. I snatched the paper from Bella and covered it with another, then quickly scrawled down notes on the poem Mr. Birdie had been reciting as he walked toward us. "Is there something you'd like to share there, Mr. Cullen?" "My notes?" I asked. He looked down at the paper, baffled. "Could have sworn. Getting too paranoid. Oh well." He walked away, and Bella rolled her eyes. I let a huge grin take over my face, happy the conversation was over, at least for now.